Hello, welcome to the Lamb Stand. This is my 5th cooking video, and today we're making lamb barbacoa tacos, inspired by Chef's Table video on Christina Martinez and her South Philly Barbacoa restaurant, which Bon Appetit considers to be one of the best restaurants in America. And if you were going to do this in the authentic Oaxacan style, you would have a pit that was brick lined and made to the exact diameter of a long, of a tall pot that fits just down into that pit. And you build a big wood fire in the pit, let it burn down to coals, and then you set that pot into the pit. And then at the bottom, you would put a broth of lamb stock, chilies, onions, garlic, and then put a steam insert on top of that. And then you would take some maguey leaves, which are the leaves of the agave plant, and you'd hold them over a gas burner till they get dark green and soft and pliable, and then you wrap the lamb in that and put that on top of the steam insert, put the cover on, and then what they do is they seal that with clay and then put some kind of insulation, some leaves or something on top of that pot, and then let it braise, let it steam for 8 hours. So you could do it that way. That's not what I'm going to do today. I've adapted that style of braising to a Dutch oven. This is the mise en place. These are all the ingredients laid out, kind of in the order that I'm going to cook with them. So the first step was to salt. This is about a 4-pound lamb shoulder. Salt it on all sides, let it rest for a half hour, kind of softens it up, opens it up. Then I'm going to brown the lamb, but before I brown it, I'm going to toast some cumin seeds and coriander seeds. Then I'm going to grind them in a coffee grinder. And then in that same Dutch oven, I'm going to put these guajillo chilies and ancho chilies and just kind of toast them till they puff up, because it makes it easier to take the stems off and take the seeds out. I'll peel these garlic cloves, 4 or 5, depending on the size of the garlic clove, 4 or 5 garlic cloves in the food processor, along with a couple of chipotle peppers, a little bit of the adobo sauce that they're in out of a can, and then a half a cup of orange juice. The braise is going to have a cup of lamb stock. You could use chicken stock if you don't have lamb stock. So I put about half of this in with the marinade or adobo that I'm making, and then I'll put the other half in when I'm assembling the braise. Take an orange, slice it, and again peel and slice the onions. Put that at the bottom of the pot, the Dutch oven, and then on top of that put some dried avocado leaves and bay leaves, some fresh oregano, and then this is epazote. May not be able to find this, but it's got a really funky, spicy flavor. Obviously, if you have maguey leaves, if you can find them, you use those. For this one, I'm going to throw in this banana leaf that came with this queso fresco. So then the rest of the lamb stock goes in. The brown lamb goes on top of that, and then you pour this adobo you made over it, cover the Dutch oven, and then it goes in the oven 300 degrees for 3 hours. Once it comes out, take the cover off, let it come to room temperature, take an hour or so, and as it's coming to room temperature, the lamb's going to be absorbing some of the braising liquid. And then put it in the fridge overnight, and then finish it the next day. This is a batch. You'll see what happens as it sits in the fridge. The fat congeals on top, and you can just scrape that off. Save a little bit of it, because what you're going to do is you're going to pull the lamb off the bone, shred it, cook it in a little bit of that fat for a couple of minutes to crisp it, and while that's happening, strain and reduce the braising liquid, and then pour the braising liquid over the lamb, and then that goes into soft corn tortillas, soft tacos, and a little bit of queso fresco on top, and some chopped fresh cilantro. I'm going to make some guacamole to go with it, and then this is a really spicy shug, which actually Israeli by way of Yemen, that I made for the last cooking video. But you could use any kind of salsa verde or salsa roja. So that's barbacoa tacos. Let's get cooking. So I've heated up this Dutch oven. It's just dry, no oil in it. And I put the coriander seeds and the cumin seeds in it. Just sort of toast them in this dry pan until they're fragrant. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Now I'm going to put them in my coffee grinder. In that same pan, I'm going to put these guajillo and ancho chilies, and I'm just going to toast them there until they puff up a little. And then when I take the chilies out of this pot, I'm going to put a tablespoon and a half of sunflower oil, and then brown the lamb. Yeah, these are getting a little softer. You want to kind of soften them up or puff them up so that it's easier to see them. Now the oil goes in, let that heat up a little bit, and then we'll brown the lamb. So I'm just taking the stem off and the seeds out, and then breaking them into little pieces to go in food processor. Brown it on the second side. So now I'm going to peel the garlic. This is a Oaxacan style barbacoa. Some of the barbacoas in other parts of Mexico are wrapped in banana leaves. So that's an acceptable substitute. But I'm going to use that little piece of banana leaf just to give a little bit of that flavor. So we need to make some orange juice, and I believe this one navel orange will make a half a cup of juice. So this is a half cup measure. How about that? So that's what you want. I'm going to put half a cup of lamb stock in with this just so it's a little easier to get it mixed up. I'm going to put orange slices on the bottom of the Dutch oven for the braise, along with onion slices. I'm going to take the brown lamb out of the Dutch oven and then pour off the fat. And the orange slices. Avocado and bay leaves over that, and the epazote, oregano, the rest of the lamb stock. Now I'm going to put the lamb back in the pot. I'm going to take this adobo that I made and spread it around the lamb, taking that banana leaf from the queso fresco and putting it in there just to get a little of that flavor. Put some aluminum foil over the pot first. Give it an extra seal. This is the barbacoa I made yesterday, and I'm going to scrape off the fat. I'm going to use some of it. I'm going to take the lamb out of this pot. I'm going to heat this up just so I can strain it more easily. But meanwhile, I will shred this lamb, take it off the bone. So I'm initially just going to break it up with my fingers, but ultimately you can shred it with a couple forks. I don't think I'm going to have to reduce this braising liquid. So I'm going to put this in a strainer that's over a bowl just to get all the solids out of it. Yeah, I think that's pretty good just like that. I'm not going to reduce it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the fat back in the pot just to cook the lamb. I mean, to crisp it up. Now I'm going to put this liquid back in. And let that heat up because the liquid was cold. These are tortillas I bought at a Mexican market in New Haven. So I'm going to just put a little bit of water on them. Put them in the toaster oven. This is queso fresco. Essentially like a farmer's cheese. I'm just going to shred it a little bit. This is going to go on top of the tacos. And then I'm also going to put some chopped fresh cilantro on top. Now I'm just going to make a little guacamole to go with it. So this is 2 avocados, half a lemon. I think that's probably good. I like the texture you get when you do it in this mortar and pestle rather than a blender. I'll put a little bit of the cilantro in there. Maybe a little salt. A little bit of hot sauce. Nice and soft. Okay. I'm taking it out with a slotted spoon just so that it's not too juicy. A little bit of the queso fresco on each one. A little bit of the chopped cilantro. A little lime wedge. Have a nice dollop of guacamole. Fiery hot sugar. Or you could use a salsa of your choice. So, there you have it.